Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour. We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, and Hestia Med Spa. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host, Barbara Cochran, on your hometown station AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS. Barbara is off today. This is a show for, about, and by seniors bringing information to enhance one's quality of life. Today on our show, we have Dr. Mawa Kalani from Providence Holy Cross Medical Center in Mission Hills. And we're waiting for her phone call to come in, and hopefully she'll be on the line soon, which I believe she is now. Dr. Kalani, are you there? Good morning or good afternoon.
Hey.
How are you? Happy end of the year.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. You as well.
Yeah, good. I know you've been busy.
I'm actually calling from Lake Tahoe today. We decided to take a family trip this week. So
good for you.
Yeah, it's beautiful up here. Yeah.
And there's so many things that I think our listeners would like to hear about from a palliative care physician. Your life right now with this pandemic, Dr. Kalani, cannot be an easy task at all. And first, getting our listeners on the same page. I wanted to ask you and clarify so that our listeners do understand what is palliative care and what does it mean to our seniors, especially to our seniors.
Absolutely. Well, palliative care is a medical specialty provided by a team of specialists who are dedicated to optimizing the quality of life of patients who have serious illness. And serious illness can range anywhere from an advanced cancer, advanced organ disease such as heart failure or lung disease like emphysema, COPD, or even ailments such as dementia, Parkinson's, and such. And this is a team approach to helping our patients get the best care possible. And it's not in replace of a medical team that a patient would presently have, but actually really enhance the medical approach and medical treatment for each of those individual patients. Essentially, what I would say is that any patient who has a serious illness really requires an extra layer of support, and that's what palliative care can provide.
And
so we're able to provide pain and symptom management, help with any psychosocial issues, spiritual concerns, and provide emotional support as well. So it's delivered by a team of specialists. Typically, it's a physician, nurse practitioner, chaplain, social worker, a slew of therapists and volunteers. So it's a large team. It can be provided within the hospital setting or in the community setting, and there are a lot more available services in this day and age, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully. And one of the things with my patients, at least, who probably average age is easily over 80, but aging in itself, it's not considered necessarily a serious illness, but there are some of my patients who definitely tell me, one, they don't want hospitalization, or they just don't want certain treatment plans that could enhance or make their suffering worse. So they're willing to give up on that and consider themselves palliative care. Now, what is the difference between palliative care and hospice care?
Well, hospice care is really, the way that I think of hospice care is it's a Medicare definition for when a patient is within a terminal time frame. So let's say a doctor tells you, God forbid, if a doctor tells you, Gene, you have probably 6 months or less to live, and you have a terminal condition that we have very limited treatment options for, you would then qualify for hospice. So
Right.
I think of it more of a time-based time frame, whereas
Mm-hmm.
palliative is not so much based on that. Palliative is really about taking care of the patient in the position that they're in within that specific time frame, really in the moment care. So
Mm-hmm.
palliative care can coincide with all curative forms of treatment. It can coincide with waiting for an organ transplant. It can coincide with cancer treatments. And even palliative care can even coincide with the scenario that you're posting of an 80-plus-year-old who says, I just don't want to have to pursue any type of medical treatment, but yet
Mm-hmm.
that 80-year-old doesn't necessarily qualify for hospice. So
Right.
palliative care is a much looser form of specialty level care that is really focused on quality of life.
And, as a physician who's been practicing for over 40 years, through my experience and ability, past abilities and understanding how patients are faring, sometimes, I know when they're terminal, where they're going to pass away soon. And many of my patients, in my career, I have never had anyone on hospice longer than 8 days. That's it, 8 days. And I know there are some people who have been on it longer, and that's understandable. But I can. You and I are both trained in seeing individuals who, in an emergency room or an acute care setting, where you look at them and they're going if you don't intervene in some way. And sometimes they don't want intervention, and they tell us that.
Correct.
So I think that's important. And you mentioned that hospice is it's kind of a Medicare term, but they also talk about end-of-life care and comfort care. These are other terms that you'll hear discussed in a hospital setting as well. Can you clarify that for our listeners so they can understand that as well, and differentiating it from palliative care and hospice care and the life care, comfort care? These are all difficult terms for our patients to hear.
It's so confusing. It is so confusing. So comfort care and end-of-life care are, I think I'd like to put them all in different buckets. So palliative care, we talk about patients who have serious illness looking for quality of life. That's one bucket. Hospice care is terminal care of a patient who is no longer pursuing any disease-modifying treatment. So they've forgone their cancer treatment, they've forgone their radiation, they're no longer going on dialysis, that sort of bucket, and they are just getting comfort-focused treatment. End-of-life care is similar to hospice care. It's just a different terminology. And comfort care is really in the hospital setting, because not every hospital can provide inpatient hospice care. Now, at Providence Holy Cross and our sister ministries, our sister hospitals, we do provide inpatient hospice for those who qualify. But for those who do not qualify for the inpatient hospice service, they would otherwise be on comfort care. And comfort care is exactly how it sounds. We only manage their symptoms and ensure that they are extremely comfortable and that they are no longer being poked and prodded with needles, x-rays, labs, and those sorts of things. Remedies that are no longer going to enhance their comfort are going to be discontinued. So they're really just different, different labels for a general term of comfort-focused treatment. So hospice, end-of-life care, and comfort care are kind of all in a more generalized category. Palliative care is separate from that. Palliative care is not any of those. When we get to a more terminal phase of a patient's status, we transfer from palliative care to either hospice care, end-of-life care, or comfort care.
Right. So it's an extension, kind of an extension, but still when we talk about you are a palliative care doctor, but your extension goes down to hospice care and end-of-life care and comfort care as well. I mean, it's just a continuation.
Yes.
It's not in your label of palliative care, but it's a continuum. So,
exactly.
And for our listeners, it's a little confusing. We're trying to clarify that for them. They can look things up on Google and everything else that they want and sometimes get a little bit more clarity. But I think your explanation was excellent. And, one of the things that, we have been, all of us have been obviously facing is the pandemic. And how much more difficult would you say, Mawa, would you say that it has been for you and other physicians that practice palliative care during this pandemic?
Oh my gosh, it's been such a challenge, especially in the time frames where we weren't able to really have proper visitation from our friends and families of our patients. It was a tremendous undertaking to take care of those patients in the hospital. And really because our patients need their family members. They need their friends. They need that love of the people they care about. And without those individuals by their bedside, it was such a trying experience for them. And so the pandemic really did weigh heavy on those patients, but particularly on all the providers, all the clinicians within the hospital setting. I was just reading a post from one of our acute care nurses. She had just posted it about her experiences and how much she's been traumatized by the pandemic. And I think that has weighed heavy on everybody within the healthcare setting, but particularly those who have had to deal with acute care patients. And so from a palliative perspective, because we were dealing with a lot of scenarios that, potentially could have been avoided, if patients had undergone vaccination, for instance, that scenario, is it's very stressful. It's very trying. And we wish we weren't in that position to have to, care for patients under those circumstances. So,
when before the vaccination, it's challenging. And I tell you, I would go online prior to vaccination, and we kind of were running this way and that way, trying to figure out our best ways of treatment for very sick patients. I'd get online with my friends from the East Coast and on Zoom meetings, and there might be 50 to 100 people on board, and some of them were so worn out they were sleeping. But I could tell many of our colleagues were going to have PTSD from this, and indeed that is now happening. But we're seeing, thank goodness, I believe, a light at the end of the tunnel that will help us in terms of those healthcare professionals facing this a little bit better for their patients. So you mentioned visitation, and visitation has been detrimental to family members, caregivers, and especially patients during this time. I mean, and it's taken a mental toll for them as well. What is the visitation policy at Providence Holy Cross, and how has it changed compared to no visitation at the start of the pandemic?
Oh my gosh, I think we were without visitors for over a year. I can't even tell you for how long it had been. I mean, it was so long. So presently, for Providence Holy Cross, we have 2 visitors per patient, and they must either show proof of vaccine or proof of a negative COVID test, a PCR test, to be able to come in and visit. And that's just for general visitation. We do have special circumstances for patients who are on comfort care or for inpatient hospice. But for the general population of patients, they do get two visitors per day, which is great. It's better than what we had, which was nothing. So visitation right now is from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it's for adults only, everyone who's 18 and up.
And we have, and I think this is so improved on how it had been before in the past. But the other thing, Mawa, that we're learning is how to use technology. And even though some of the seniors didn't know how to use the technology, as suggested by us here in this valley and the San Fernando Valley and the Los Angeles area, we have worked to educate and teach our seniors how to use devices that will allow them to communicate with their family members. So that has been an asset, as well as the improvement with vaccinations and then changing of the rules and the visitation. I mean, all of this has made a market difference. It's not perfect, and our listeners have to realize it is not perfect, but it is getting better. We're going to take a break, but Mawa, I want to just maybe when we come back, I want to talk about advanced directives, and maybe and just so people understand that they have to have legal documentation signed when they come into hospitals, at least in the state of California, and we want to kind of know what the ramifications are relative to palliative care and your treatment of patients. So let's go ahead and we'll take a break. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio, speaking with Dr. Mawa Kalani from Providence Holy Cross Medical Center on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS.
Traffic brought to you by the law firm of Owen Patterson Owen, helping Santa Clarita drivers recover from life-changing accidents for over 3 decades. Owen Patterson Owen, encouraging you to drive safely. Visit opolaw.com.
It's time to experience a pain relief, wellness, and anti-aging treatment unlike any other. It's time to check out Mend Cryotherapy. Relieve chronic joint and muscle pain, diminish soreness and inflammation, alleviate stress-related symptoms, boost immune system performance, and improve sleep and recovery times. Mend Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to Mend, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
This is Jill from the Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to our 4,655 families in the SCV community. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website at santaclaritagrocery.org or our Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
You already know Salt Creek Grill has the best food in our valley. Well, now you can have Salt Creek's gourmet meals catered to your event.
I'm Greg Amsler, owner of Salt Creek Grill. I'd like to introduce you to a new level of catering, featuring our catering director, Tamara Levine.
Salt Creek Grill creates memorable experiences, which leaves our clients and guests with a sense of awe and excitement. From menu development to picturesque presentation, you'll enjoy culinary excellence and creative catering.
Salt Creek Grill, a new level of catering.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
We salute our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom. Every week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com. Thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
Lots of people can build websites, but there's one Santa Clarita company that specializes in designing websites for your business. Small Dog Creative. The Small Dog Creative team is made up of local designers who are hands-on. Their talented team of experts build premium websites and redefine branding. Small Dog Creative doesn't just build websites. They'll upgrade your business's online presence and turn your business into a powerful online brand. Small Dog Creative, Santa Clarita's most innovative web and design company. SmallDogCreative.com.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS. We're talking with Dr. Mawa Kalani from Providence Holy Cross Medical Center in Mission Hills. And, you know, we wanted to discuss a very important issue related to advanced directives and the legal paperwork that one needs to have when they come into the hospital and what might happen if you don't have the legal paperwork. So let's go through some of the scenarios of people being admitted and when they what they should have and then what happens when they don't have. What kind of legal papers should they have?
Well, you know, just something to emphasize is that an advance directive is made for any adult 18 years of age and older. And you do not have to be sick. You do not have to have any sort of, you know, medical ailment to fill one of these out. It is for every single adult ages 18 and older. And what this advance directive does is really designate who you would want to make medical decisions for you if you could not make it yourself. And that could be a brother, a sister, it could be a husband, wife, it could be just a friend, a good friend of yours who you know and trust and knows you well. So it allows for any of the medical providers to know specifically who has the ability to make decisions on your behalf, and also who has the ability to obtain medical information about you. So this form is so useful, particularly if you are in a scenario where you have to be hospitalized. Because under any sort of circumstance, let's say you're getting a minor procedure or a major surgery, an advance directive can allow for one of your family members who can make medical decisions for you the ability to consent for any other procedure or get release of information. So an advance directive is extremely important. And both my husband and I have advance directives. Both my parents have advance directives. Their advance directives are on file with the FACI Medical Group and also with Providence. And that way, the medical information carries over. That documentation carries over. And the other nice thing about an advance directive, if you are considering different scenarios, it allows you to really delineate what is important to you and what is not important to you. So, for instance, if you had a scenario where a doctor said, well, you're going to need to be on a feeding tube for the rest of your life and get artificial nutrition and hydration. Is that something you would want? You're able to weigh in on that option if that's completely within your standards of living, or if it's in line with your own beliefs. Those are the things that you want to be able to really document and let those medical providers know. So the scenario typically happens is, a patient gets admitted to the hospital and they're in pretty bad shape. Let's say they've had a massive heart attack or a massive stroke. And we need to know on those advanced directives who's going to be able to make those medical decisions for you. Because in those scenarios, you may not have the proper reasoning to make clear decisions. And it's very important that we know who's that surrogate decision maker.
Right. And, one of the things, though, Maui, is that people think that, it's a legal document. I have to get an attorney, pay money.
Not at all.
To do that. And,
not at all.
You can do it online and
for free.
And for free. But, to me, I've always suggested, yes, go ahead and do it online. But, the last thing you do as you sign it is that you get advice and have an attorney look at it and rubber stamp it for you to make sure that it's adequate for every situation. So, you can do it on the
That's true.
Less expensive side, but having an attorney does make sure that it's okay. So don't fear.
That's true, but you could.
Go ahead.
No, but you could also even do an advanced directive with your own family practitioner.
Yeah.
You could sit down with them and let them know who you'd want to make medical decisions with, and all you would need is two witnesses to witness your signature and your completion of the document. So
right.
that is really a very easy way of doing it. You can just call up your own family practice doctor and make an appointment to do some advanced care planning. And that is specifically only for your medical level of care. This has nothing to do with any of the, your trust or, your accounts and such like that. Financial, none of that is applicable. But for your medical decision making, your physician can help you with that.
Right, and they should be able to. I don't always know that, medical doctors, as smart as they are in taking care of patients, that they're able to handle all the questions. But most of them are up to par. So don't be afraid to ask the question, because if anything, what doctors do is they can, what we call, punt the ball, and they can move a person forward in the right direction. So, and I'm totally good with that thought. Now, let's talk about the other scenario where one comes into the hospital, and I am trying to remember the statistic, but I'm pretty sure 1 in 3 individuals have advanced directives. 2 out of 3 do not. So it's somewhere in that range where people are coming to the emergency room. They don't have advanced directives, and they come in unconscious. They come in nonverbal, without legal documentation of who their medical decision maker will be. What happens when that occurs?
Oh my goodness, it is quite a scene sometimes, because we really have no idea what to do when that person arrives in our emergency department, and therefore we're providing every single possible scenario and service that we can to provide that person to continue their life. I mean, we're giving them life-saving treatment, even if it's against their wishes, which we won't know unless we have a directive. So that includes resuscitation, that includes being placed on life support, That includes emergency surgeries and procedures. And these are not considered to be comfortable in any way, shape, or form. These life-saving treatments are considered to be very potentially uncomfortable, painful, and may or may not be in line with what your values are. So it's very important to put down on in record of some form, whether it's an advance directive, a physician's order for life-sustaining treatment, or a post form, or even just having a good, clear conversation with the ones that you love about what would be agreeable to you and what would not be agreeable to you. Because I think ultimately when it comes to your population, Gene, I worry about what their values are, and I want to be able to honor their values. If they want to be saved to every extent possible, we're going to do it. And I can assure you that will be provided. But if they're saying, I do not, under any circumstance, want to have resuscitative measures, without an advance directive or somebody you love, knowing that information, you may unfortunately suffer. So
sometimes
it's so important.
Sometimes there's conflict within the family, because now the family starts to argue as to, where their loved one might want to have gone with their care. And most people do not realize that next of kin is not a part of California law. And right now, if you can believe it, yours truly, myself and my wife Robin, are trying to get introduced a bill. It's all written up by the state council into Sacramento, into the legislature, and we're pushing that to add next of kin to the present law. So that's a different story, but it's a part of the scenario that we are talking about, that if you don't have an advance directive and if you come in unconscious and unable to orally, verbally tell the doctor who's now in charge, if you don't have that, then the law right now says it's not next of kin. And people just believe that, and I think many doctors believe it as well. But, like I say, we have put this forward, and we are trying to add to it laws that will just simply make sure and assure that the seniors' family members are able to take charge of the medical decision-making of their loved one. So when do you think, Mawa, when do you think it is necessary to have a discussion with your family, as those that are listening are mostly seniors? When is it necessary to have a discussion, or caregivers or family members right now listening who are thinking, I better have that conversation with my mom or dad? When should that occur?
I say as soon as possible. And the reason why I say that is if you're a senior, or you're a daughter of a senior, or a relative of a senior, you want to take the opportunity that when your loved one is at their clearest, to understand what their values are and what their preferences are. And I can tell you that with my own parents, I've had multiple conversations with them in regards to how they want to be cared for, where they would ever want to be taken care of, such as, would they ever have wanted to be in a nursing home or caregiver, those sorts of things. You want to have those conversations as soon as possible. And I know it's a very taboo conversation to talk about, but it's also because you care. It's because you love those individuals. You want to give them the best of the best for their preferences and values. And as long as you're focusing on providing the best for your loved ones, you can't go wrong. You just can't. There's no taboo about it. There's no superstition about it. If you talk about resuscitation, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I know a lot of families don't like to talk about that topic, But it's also important to say, you know what, we love you so much. We want to make sure we're honoring who you are. And if you're a senior, it's important for you to tell your loved ones, listen, you know, God forbid anything happened to me, this is what I would want. But hey, I'm living, I'm doing great, and I love my life, and this is because I love you to tell you how I want to be cared for, so that you're not having to make any of those decisions. And especially if you have your seniors listening, every senior wants to stay in control. Every senior wants to be able to make their decisions to the very last minute. And why not put it in writing so that you are constantly the one making the decision?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, what, we're going to take a break, but, when we come back, there's been a lot of, and not in our local newspapers so much, but, in different magazines and periodicals about discussion related to hospice care and about individuals being forced on hospice care. And, it's become a jungle out there, and people, as we're discussing this, know that they're confused. And sometimes they feel they're being confused for a reason. So when we come back, let's talk about coercion and feeling a sense of relief when you can make a reasonable decision without the thought that somebody's going to take advantage. So let's take a break, and we'll come back with that discussion. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on the Senior Hour, talking with Dr. Mawa Kalani from Providence Holy Cross Medical Center about palliative care, hospice care, and those important things that we need to discuss on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS.
Hey, Ned, why are you wearing a cape?
I'm a superhero.
Ned, you're a Pacific Air technician.
No, I'm a superhero. I just fixed another carbon monoxide leak in a customer's heating system. I'm saving homes, lives, and maybe saving the world.
Get in the truck, Ned.
Have you been experiencing flu symptoms even after your flu shot?
A furnace leaking carbon monoxide can cause the same symptoms. That's where we can help.
When you call Pacific Air this month and order our WOW heating tune-up and safety check for just $77,
we'll give your heating system a 20-point tune-up and do a complete safety check to test for any carbon monoxide leaks.
It's our goal to keep your family safe and warm this season. Our service is so super, we think you'll say,
wow!
On time, great care. When you want the best, call Pacific Air.
No surprises, just exceptional service, because nobody cares like Pacific Air. Get your WOW heating tune-up today at pacair.com.
This holiday music is brought to you by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, your community health partner. To learn more about our award-winning care, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us on the web at providence.org.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
Traffic brought to you by the law firm of Owen Patterson Owen, helping Santa Clarita drivers recover from life-changing accidents for over 3 decades. Owen Patterson Owen, encouraging you to drive safely. Visit opolaw.com.
It's time to experience a pain relief, wellness, and anti-aging treatment unlike any other. It's time to check out Mend Cryotherapy. Relieve chronic joint and muscle pain, diminish soreness and inflammation, alleviate stress-related symptoms, boost immune system performance, and improve sleep and recovery times. Mend Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to MEND, Cryotherapy.com on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
Santa Clarita now has its first respiratory treatment center, RenewMed. Whether you've got COPD, COVID complications, asthma, or emphysema, you no longer have to drive out of our valley for treatment. RenewMed is a comprehensive outpatient rehab facility. Along with respiratory treatment, RenewMed's multidisciplinary team includes physicians, respiratory, physical, occupational therapists, and social service professionals. Experience a new kind of therapy. RenewMed on Lyons Avenue, just north of the 5. Visit RenewMedSCV.com. That's RenewMedSCV.com.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS. We're talking with Dr. Mawa Kalani, a palliative care physician from Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. And, you know, one of the aspects of hospice care, at least, that many of our families worry about, Mawa, is going on hospice and feeling the sense that you're being coerced into that decision making. It's been written up and people are trying to do things about it, lawmakers and everybody else, but how should one approach hospice and in terms of relative to a palliative care doctor and their primary care physician?
Well, I think the important thing to know is that just because you do sign up for a hospice program doesn't mean that you lose your connection with your primary care provider or other physicians. So you're still able to have visits if you as a patient are enrolled in hospice. If you're able to establish a relationship with a hospice that is affiliated with your primary care physician, that really can keep that relationship ongoing. But also for some patients, if they've signed up with a larger entity, hospice, their primary care physician can still be part of that team providing the care. So it's important for your listeners to know that relationship is still present. Now, hospice care is such a challenge because there's so many different agencies out there, and how do you choose the best one? And everyone's had a different experience, and are you really a well-suited patient for hospice care? And this really does vary so much from patient to patient, family to family. Every circumstance is so unique. So as you and your loved ones are having to deliberate about needing hospice care, I would truly recommend having a palliative care or a primary care physician to really evaluate the pluses and minuses with you towards hospice care, and making sure that that's the best choice for you, because it's not uniform. It would be a very strategic type of treatment that you would be receiving, and it could change also your Medicare benefits. So it's important to sit down with somebody that you know well, or who has the most experience with hospice care, to know specifically what is the best care for you.
Absolutely. And, we have just a few minutes left, but I just wanted to, as we've covered so many topics important to our seniors, especially related to the legal side and end-of-life care. But, there is a law called California End of Life Option Act, which is, and I just kind of wanted to know, how does it apply to patients who are on palliative care? And I know there are some changes coming up on January 1st that might impact our patients as well.
Yeah, I am probably the not the right person to advocate for this act. This is not something that, as a Providence provider that I oversee, I'm not in line with the End of Life Option Act. It's not part of what I do. I have had very few encounters with patients who have decided to pursue the End of Life Option Act. And this is, in other words, the Physician Aid in Dying, or the End of Life Act, death with dignity. There's all these different terminologies for this particular act. But essentially what I would recommend is that if you're thinking about your life and you're experiencing a terminal diagnosis, and you're experiencing terminal pain or suffering associated with your diagnosis, you need to have really good care. And that care should be provided by your primary care physician, your palliative care physician and team, and or a hospice team. And from that point forward, this option can be explored, but until you have good established relationships, I would not pursue this act otherwise. So I'm probably not the right person to really, go through the details on it because it's not something that I advocate for. I advocate for continuing and promoting the natural course of life, and ending life prematurely under these circumstances is not. It's not in my value system, and it's not what our healthcare system. I mean, our Providence health system advocates for. So.
Wow, but that's
right
still that's still great information. Everybody's got their opinions, and we the ultimate thing is we serve mankind, we serve our patients, we give them the quality of life they deserve. Dr. Mawa Kalani from Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, Happy New Year. Thank you for being on our show.
Much,
it was great information today. We appreciate all your input, and just keep doing what you're doing. Don't get PTSD over any
the
patients. Let's struggle and do the things that we need to do to take care of our community. Thank you so much, Dr. Kalani, for helping out and giving this information
today.
Much,
Thank you.
Thank you. We
truly appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, and Hestia Med Spa. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.